Get up.
Boxing on ESPN.
On Bruce Johnson, let's meet him with Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the heavyweight division. This bout scheduled for 4 rounds. The referee for this contest is Jay Nady. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the navy blue trunks and weighing in at 194 pounds, from Youngstown, Ohio, a veteran of 29 bouts. His record 8-20-1 with 4 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Johnson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with black trim, weighing 233 pounds, from Cincinnati, Ohio. This 1992 U.S. Olympic team member is undefeated as a pro. He's 1-0. That's a knockout victory. Let's hear it for Larry Speedy Young Donald.
Larry, you want to come on out here? Do you have any questions about the fight? Any questions about the instructions I gave you earlier? Let's have a good, clean fight. You can touch hands now if you'd like. Go to work.
And Bruce Johnson giving Larry Donald the good luck. Johnson, of course, by far the more experienced fighter, and that is what he's counting on tonight against Larry Donald, who has had just one professional fight, one in which he admits he was extremely nervous before the opening bell.
Fight that you saw here on ESPN that Donald won in 1 round
just a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact.
out in LA. He didn't win it 1 round, did he?
It was 2, but a big size advantage for Larry Donald in this fight. Really, Bruce Johnson at 195 pounds, much more comfortable in the cruiserweight division. He has been in there, I was going to say, with some good fighters. That's the good news. The bad news is he's lost to them.
Yeah, virtually all of them. Bernard Benton, Mike Evans, Carlos De Leon, he fought. Your favorite cruiserweight of all time.
Larry Donald is trying to jump on him right now.
Lennox Lewis KO'd him in 2 back in 1989. He's been KO'd by most heavyweights. You know what he's honest about? I like that we said, what's your record? He said, he right away told us his record, 8-20, which is, you know, not the kind of record you want to brag about, but he was very honest.
He's also honest to the fact that he fights heavyweights rather than cruiserweights because they're a better payday.
Yeah, it's so hard to find cruiserweights you can fight. He has faced some like Anna Clay Wamba, who was a former champion, and De Leon. And he's a very awkward opponent right now for Larry Donald. Of course, he's anxious to impress. He's the young man who, if you didn't know it, did not win a medal at the Olympics. Lost to the Cuban heavyweight in the 2nd round.
Jax Morton working in his corner, another very able trainer and perhaps even more able teacher.
He's a very good student of boxing, and as you said, teaches it well to young men. Donald throwing the jab out. Larry's not always used to facing guys that are as tall as him, and Johnson is even a little smidge taller.
You mentioned the awkward style of Johnson. Very hard to look good against a fighter like that, although Donald strictly being the aggressor here.
Yeah, Larry Donald going after him. I think Larry Donald still looks a little bit, I don't want to say nervous, but a little bit awkward in the ring, more so than he would normally look.
Well, we talked to him about the adjustments that he's had to make, and it's the same adjustments that you hear from just about everybody who comes out of a long amateur career, and that is patience, learning to set down on your punches.
And that second thing, very important for Larry Donald.
He set down on that one, sort of.
Yeah, and then he did, and then he pawed his way in afterwards, which kind of negated what he'd done.
Has tendency to lunge with his punches, doesn't he?
Yeah, and push them out there. I'm sure that's one of the things James Morton is working on him with.
Let go.
So we come to the end of the 1st round, and a good round for Larry Donald. No doubt about who won it. 2nd round now, Larry Donald and Bruce Johnson, and Donald pushed Johnson around pretty much at will in the 1st round. Johnson really unable to mount anything that resembles an attack on Larry Donald. And that left hand must have hurt Johnson. Didn't look like a particularly good punch, but it sure drove Johnson out of there.
Let go there, let go there.
Donald's not known as a huge puncher with his left. Wow, look at those punches in round 1. Huge edge for Larry Donald.
Stop holding.
Jay Noddy take Tony Bruce Johnson to stop holding.
Let go of him. Let go of him. Here.
Johnson doing a lot of laying, or rather, Donald doing a lot of laying on Johnson, but in this particular case where he has so much size advantage, it's not particularly a bad idea.
He is kind of muscling, as you said, muscling Johnson, which isn't his normal style either.
I'm here to break. I'm here to break.
Talk to us about how hard he's been working. Says he runs 6 or 7 miles a day, spends a couple hours in the gym. Johnson looks either tired or hurt, or both.
Let go, let go.
And Donald is being very active with his punches. Good arm punching, though, by Larry Donald. He's not getting a lot of leverage into his punches.
Break, 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 break. Let go, let go, let go.
Well, so Donald stands very straight up. Look how straight up he stands. That's something I know they must be working with him to try and get him to break out of that habit. Makes him really vulnerable for shots.
Well, we were talking to Jenks Morton. We remind you that still to come our battle for the USBA Heavyweight Championship between Tyrell Biggs and Mike the Bounty Hunter, and not Tony Tubbs, as was previously advertised. We've already documented the fact that Tubbs did not pass a drug test. And Johnson's in big trouble and just about to go here. And Jay Noddy steps in, says that's it. That's well stopped. It was a completely non-competitive fight.
And Bruce Johnson having a very tough time responding in any way, and he didn't complain about the stoppage for that young man, Larry Donald. It's his second pro win.
Wants to stay active. We talked to Jenks Morton and started to say about when he'll step up and try to fight 6 rounders, try to get some rounds for his man. He said, well, 6 fights, 6 rounds, 8 fights, 8 rounds, 10 fights, 10 rounds. And here's a guy who had to buy a ticket tonight, and that did not make him too happy.
No, and Mark Randa, the commissioner, came by and pointed out to us that when they made that decision, the commission could not reach the attorney general, who is their legal representative. I think that's made because there may be some legal grounds for Tony Tubbs on this one, because the test in which they ruled him out of was not really an official commission test. So there is some controversy. Even the commission admits there's maybe room for interpretation here.
Yeah, very, very strange goings on. Let's get the official word from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jay Nady stops the bout at 2 minutes and 27 seconds of round number 2. The winner by technical knockout, his record 2-0, 2 KOs, Larry Speedy Young Donald.
So Larry Donald runs his record to 2 up and none down with a second round technical knockout, and he will be fighting again, and he will be fighting again soon. When we come back soon, we'll have Ringside Report.